I've been lurking here for a while and I finally have a story to share. I'm a 32-year-old mom of two living in Florida with my husband and our kids, Jamie and Evan. I'm always grateful to be in the position that I'm in, especially when it comes to curating a loving home for my children and husband. Unfortunately, my in-laws have always been critical of my parenting, and it's been a source of tension between us for years. My mother-in-law, Sue, and father-in-law, Eric, are both in their late 60s and have a traditional view of parenting. They think I'm too lenient with my kids and don't discipline them enough. They're always telling me how to raise my children and making me feel like I'm not doing a good job, which irritates me to say the least. You're letting the kids eat that much sugar? They'll have all their teeth falling out before mine do at this rate. It's just a Capri Sun, guys. Sure, for now. And then you'll be letting them put 10 tablespoons of sugar in their cereal or something, and now your kids are all going to be strung out and hyper and crazy. I really feel like you should implement some more vegetables in their diet. They eat plenty of vegetables. Well, maybe they don't eat enough. Look at how malnourished they look. They're fine, Mom. Don't mind them, Ronnie. Except I did mind. I didn't appreciate these people coming into my house and telling me how to raise my children. It was unfair and frankly a bit rude. I just didn't know how to address it with them, though, considering they were my in-laws. My inability to speak up about their behavior led me to silently succumb to the constant nitpicking that slowly chipped away at my resolve. I felt myself getting crazier and crazier by the day. Sometimes these people would call me out of the blue just to remind me of how bad I was doing as a mother. I would obviously complain to my husband, who understood my situation, but also felt quite helpless because, after all, they were his parents. When I did formally approach him about his parents' antics, however, this also proposed its own set of problems. I just feel like I need you to support me a bit more. It seems like I'm the only person fighting for what I believe in, and you sitting there not doing anything isn't helping. I get that my parents can be a bit annoying, but that's what they do. They're grandparents. They're going to do this kind of stuff. You're just scared to approach them, that's all. That's not true. It is true, and you're just afraid to admit that. You're afraid of going against your dear parents for the sake of your wife and kids. You're delusional, Ronnie. That's the furthest thing from the truth. What if I agree with them sometimes? Excuse me? Sometimes they have a bit too much screen time. Before we had kids, we talked about screen time. Even going as far as to remove the whole concept of having a TV or accessible phones and iPads, and now it seems like that's all they use. Okay, but why are you acting as if I'm their only parent? If you feel like they have too much screen time, which is only 4 times a week for a total of 8 hours, by the way, why not communicate that with me? Why is it that even though they have their dad in their lives, he isn't even here? I am here. I do things. Oh, yeah? Like what? Pray tell me. Well, I pay the bills and I play with them sometimes. Being a parent is way more than just paying bills, Phil. If I knew that this is what you were going to say, I would have seriously considered having children with you in the first place. Wow. Yeah, I said it. It's way more than doing those things. You constantly forget their birthdays and their sports events. You don't even read them a story before bed. And you don't even care for them when they get a cold or when they're upset. I am the one who is picking up all the slack, and it's unfair. Enough. You will not continue to disrespect me in this house. You know that I'm a good dad, but you're too selfish to see that. We went back and forth for a bit more, both of us clearly unable to see eye to eye. Needless to say that after this argument, there was some tension between us, which was only exacerbated when this happened next. As I mentioned previously, I was getting tired of the constant belittling and micromanaging. This type of behavior would obviously lead someone to lose it. And oh boy, did I lose it this one afternoon when Sue and Eric decided to make their infamously unexpected visits, which were a veil for getting a chance to berate me and judge my parenting, mothering skills. Darling, are you sure that the kids should play outside at this hour? They'll get burnt. It's too hot. That's why they have sunscreen, Sue. And besides, it's not for too long, just 30 minutes or so before they need to take their evening baths. But still, gosh, why do you always insist on being a terrible mother? We're just trying to help you. Help me? Yes, Veronica, that's all we want to do. I appreciate all the help, as unsolicited as it might be, but I think I'm good, thank you. If I need advice, I will ask for it. You see, Sue, I was telling you I didn't like that mouth of hers. She's always so smart and curt. I'm sorry you feel that way. It's just a boundary that I have expressed, and it appears as though you're offended. Of course we're offended. How can you treat us like this? We came over because we missed you and the kids, and this is how you talk to us? No, you came here because you were bored, and you wanted to belittle and micromanage my parenting skills. What? That's preposterous. Did you hit your head or something? How could you even think that? Just wait till Phil gets back home from work. You'll be sorry for speaking to us this way. We're just trying to help you. Help me with what? I'm doing a fantastic job as a mother, and I'm sorry that you can't see that. I think you two are speaking from a place of privilege. You only had Phil as your son, and you adopted him when he was 10. So if I'm being honest, you have never experienced what it's like to take care of children who are under the age of 10. Jamie and Evan are both 8 and 6. And it's a lot to deal with. So I don't think that either of you are in a position to tell me how to parent. This effectively shocked them. I think for the first time in a long while, they were shocked. Of course, my victory over them was short-lived because self-righteous people will always have something to say. Even when they have nothing to say that is of any substance or value, the argument continued. Well, I've never seen this type of behavior. What is wrong with you? Have you no shame or respect? Were you raised in a barn, young woman? You will apologize to us this instant. You'd be surprised to hear that I subscribe to the belief that people should only apologize when they're genuinely sorry. And unfortunately for you two, I'm not even the slightest bit sorry for the things that I said because it was all true. You'll be even more shocked to discover, however, that these are the same principles I'm instilling in Jamie and Evan. They both gasped with such intensity, I swear I thought I was in a soap opera. You think you're smarter than us, wiser than us? We're older than you, and therefore we know what's best. Let me call Phil right now, actually. Call him. You think I care that it's 3 against 1? I don't care. I know that I'm right for whatever reason you guys cannot admit your faults and shortcomings. I promise you, you won't combust if you say, I was wrong, Veronica, and I'm sorry. Ha! Us? Apologize to you? For what? For being awful grandparents and in-laws. Awful? Us? You're crazy. You think this is crazy? Just wait and see. As I stomped out of the room to cool down my emotions, I started to ponder. I knew that no amount of words could sway them from their soapbox. They needed something to physically knock them down and ground them back into reality and the real world. I began pacing, all the while watching my children from the window to make sure that they were okay. And then it hit me. I immediately walked back to the dining table, where it looked like Sue and Eric were getting ready to leave. Where are you two going? You think you're going home? Well, it seems like our advice and help aren't appreciated here. So we're going to take our privilege elsewhere, thank you. Oh, no, no, no. You two aren't going anywhere. You're going to stay here. I'm going to step back and let you guys do all the parenting that you didn't get to do, but so desperately wish to instill in Jamie and Evan. What? Yep, maybe it's time for me to be civilized, since I was raised in a barn after all. I didn't mean that, Veronica. You know we were heated. So obviously it's time to act prim and proper like you guys, right? So please, by all means, stay the night and take over as the best parents for your grandchildren. But we don't have clothes. And toiletries. Not to worry. I'll call Phil and tell him to stop by your house on the way. He can bring those things for you if need be, and you can buy toiletries at the grocery store. Actually, let's go there right now, and we can bring the kids, since we all know how well-behaved and good kids can be in the grocery stores. All of that won't be necessary. Come on, kids, we're going to the store. When they heard the word store, they immediately dashed inside, covered in dirt and dust, their smiles beaming from ear to ear. But any mother would know that those smiles were hiding some devilish intent to wreak havoc in the store. Unfortunately for Sue and Eric, they had no idea what this meant. We arrived at the store, and that's when I decided to say, Jamie, Evan, Gammy and Pop Pop are going to play a game with you, okay? They're going to pretend to be your mommy and daddy for a while. So right now, I need you to go inside the store with them and pretend that they're like your real mommy and daddy, okay? The kids nodded with excitement, ready for the chaos and destruction, and they sprinted inside the store. Are you sure about this? Oh, I'm positive. Go ahead and pick out what needs to be picked out. Phil should be home any second, so when we get back home for the sleepover, all will be in place for a wonderful time of parenting that you two so desperately desire to advise and help. Okay, whatever. Sue, it's just a grocery store. How hard could it be? A task that was meant to take perhaps 20 minutes maximum ended up taking close to an hour. The kids came out carrying as many snacks and toys as their tiny bodies could carry, with Sue and Eric trailing behind them, looking like they aged 20 years, and a cart full of more toys and snacks. I snickered to myself. What happened, guys? What's with all the toys? They wouldn't stop screaming for the toys. They were causing a scene, so we had to give in and just get them anything they wanted so they could shut up. Oh, yeah, you get used to that. Where are your things, though? Oh, shoot, we forgot to get those. We were so overwhelmed with the kids that we completely forgot. Huh? Interesting. I'll go back and get the stuff. Sue, please keep them entertained. Eric managed to retreat to the store and get the needful toiletries for the night. We finally made our way home and found Phil with a worried look on his face. Why exactly are my parents staying the night? Jamie, Evan, why don't you go play with your toys and get ready for bath time while Mommy talks to your new parents? You know how I said that you were going to get 2 new parents? Well, when you finish getting ready for bath time, you're going to get an extra parent. That's right, my babies. Daddy is finally going to help you with the things that Mommy normally helps you with. The kids looked very excited. They were being spoiled today, which made them extra giddy. As much as they looked excited, their new parents, on the other hand, didn't. If anything, they looked extremely worried. What's going on? Well, Phil, if you really must know, I've decided to hand over the title of present and loving parent to you 3. For the next 24 hours, you people will prove to me that you are indeed the better parents. If you manage to succeed, then I will heed all of your advice from now on. No questions asked. I'll also make sure to cater to your every whim and will pamper you at least once a week upon request. Again, no questions asked. Huh. Being pampered whenever I want? You're on. Wait, Phil, let's talk about this for a minute, please. Oh, come on, Sue. Are you still reeling from the store earlier? It's okay, that was just a fluke. Yes, just a fluke. We got this. I mean, it's 3 against 1. We're obviously going to succeed." "Glad to hear that you're excited about the challenge, but I want you to know if you fail, you 3 would have to be pampering and spoiling me, as well as shutting the hell up about my parenting. Deal?" "Deal." Deal. Deal. This is going to be so easy." Except it wasn't easy. It was the exact opposite of easy. It took less than 10 minutes for me to hear Sue and Eric screaming as they were being terrorized by Jamie and Evan. They were laughing manically as their grandparents were bumbling upstairs, failing to help them with their bath time. Phil tried to step in and managed to do a decent job, if you think that decent is just wiping them down with myriads of baby wipes and haphazardly putting them in their pajamas. "There, we're all done with your task. Can we rest now?" "Oh, no, baby. Your job as a present parent has just begun. Now, you got to keep them entertained, preferably with some educational content while you make their dinner. Then you got to feed them. Afterward, you got to help them with their homework and school assignments. Afterwards, you have to play with them. And then put them to bed, but not before reading to them their favorite bedtime stories. And once all that is done, I will tell you what happens in the morning for their morning routine." "What? There's more?" "Oh, so much more. You haven't even spent the day with them. You'll be in for a treat, I'm sure." "Easy. We'll just break up the tasks. I'll prepare the dinner for them. Sue, you help with school assignments, and Phil, you play with them and put them to bed with the bedtime story. We got this, guys." Well, they didn't, I'll tell you that. Eric thought it would be smart to serve them a fancy dinner full of flavors that weren't part of their developing palates yet. I mean, who gives kids olives and feta cheese in a garden salad? To no one's surprise, except Eric, of course, the kids did not like it one bit, making sure to make their disgust and disinterest shown with a good old temper tantrum. Jamie, being the older one, simply refused to eat, whilst Evan, being a toddler still, obviously had a meltdown. Whilst the new parents were panicking, not knowing what to do, I was just sipping on my chamomile tea, waiting for more chaos to ensue. Eric relented to the kids' wishes and just ordered pizza for the night. Next, it was Sue's turn, and she too faced a lot of difficulty with the tasks. She looked so worn and weary, and she just decided to do their homework for them, not having the patience to teach them how to get the right answers through their intellect. Phil was no different either. His idea of playing with them was just letting them watch whatever they wanted on TV and the iPad, actively going against the strict rule of no more than 8 hours of screen time. The kids had already reached their weekly limit, but Phil simply couldn't be bothered to try and be a present parent. "Didn't you say that they had too much screen time?" "Today's different. They've been too hyper. Maybe sitting still in one place and gazing at a screen would be good for them." Terrible logic, but okay. "Look, I'm doing my best, okay?" "Well, now it's time for bed, so go and do that, please." I could hear Phil wailing and whining alongside his difficult children, as they were way too hyper to go to bed. It took him 3 hours to finally put them down, and when he was done, I noticed that he just came straight to our bedroom and flopped on the bed. Phil, Sue, and Eric had no idea what was about to hit them in the morning. My kids are early birds, meaning by 6 a.m. they're up. So I took the liberty of banging pots and pans with them in the morning, their favorite way of waking us up in the morning. "What the hell is going on? Did someone die? What's with all the commotion? At 6:15 in the morning." "Oh, good morning, sleepyheads. I'm sorry. Turns out Phil and I forgot to mention that this is our kids' favorite way to wake us up in the morning sometimes." "Phil knew about this and didn't think to tell us?" "Must have slipped his mind. He's learned to ignore it and sleep right through it, though." "Not on my watch." Sue proceeded to wake up Phil and bring him to the assembly line. Today's tasks are going to be a lot of fun. First, you got to get the kids to do their morning reflection, meditation. Evan, in particular, hates this, so you have to convince him to be good. Then you can get them a healthy snack before they bathe for the day. Afterward, you have to make them their breakfast. After eating, you're to go to the park with them for some playtime. When you decide to come back home, you can bake some cookies with them since they take those snacks with them to school. Afterwards, you need to prepare their lunch and clean their rooms and bathrooms. When you're done with that, you have to clean up the living room because, okay, enough. We get it. It's a lot to do. But I, for one, can't do any of those things. I've decided to accept defeat. I don't care. I was incorrect in my judgments earlier. Oh, you want to quit? Well, sorry, parenting doesn't work that way. Please, Veronica, when will you stop torturing us? It hasn't even been 24 hours. I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Well, if the other two agree, then we can end this game of pretend. I too wish to throw in the towel. I have way too much work to do, and just the thought of completing half of those tasks has given me a migraine. Eric? Exactly. You three have made it a point to treat me like crap and call my parenting and mothering awful when you three combined couldn't even complete 24 hours of active and present parenting. You're all pathetic. Thanks for the free pampering sessions, by the way, and come to think of it, I think I need some pampering right now. The day ended with three very grumpy people begrudgingly accepting defeat and pampering me all weekend. Revenge never felt so good.